Welcome back. Today I'm going to help you answer the question, how fast should I run my endurance training? I've got a simple benchmark set that you can use. All you need is a heart rate monitor and a watch and a course that you know the distance of. And then we're going to take the data from that and we're going to do another workout with it. And it'll answer the question really clearly and it'll give you a look into your endurance and your stamina in the green zone. So let's start with the workout. And we're going to use my data just for a case study. So what you need is a loop or a route. It's going to take you about 20 minutes to run going easy. And you run it 3 times. And what I want you to do is I want you to run the first lap easy, nice and relaxed. Second lap, a little bit up from easy, at the bottom of your steady effort. So where you think the transition is between zone 1 and zone 2, that's the second lap. And then the third lap, I want you to run it at the top of zone 2, that transition out of the green zone. And if you have heart rate zones that you're using already, I would recommend that the second lap is done at the bottom of your zone 2 heart rate zone, and the third lap is done at the top of the zone 2 heart rate zone. But more important than numbers is feel, using the subjective feel and trying to run evenly. So you want a flat loop, and then you're going to put your data into a table. And I got my data up here. So lap, and I want you to score it, marks out of 5. So lap was a 1 out of 5, zone 1. Lap 2 for me, 2 out of 5, zone 2. And lap 3 was 3 out of 5. And you want to score it at the end of the lap. It's the feeling at the end, not the feeling at the beginning. And then figure out your average pace and have a look at your average heart rate and the max heart rate that you see. Because that max, there's probably more information in the max than there is in the average. Because on these 20-minute segments, for the first 10 minutes or so, if you're running even and you've got the pace and effort correct, your heart rate's going to be coming up. And it won't actually hit kind of in the zone until that second half of the 20-minute lap running easy pace. And that's particularly if it's a cool morning. It's springtime right now in Colorado, so our mornings are quite cool. So with that, you're going to have max heart rate associated with a pace at 3 different speeds, zone 1, 2, and 3. Now the test workout is a run, a bike, and a run. It's a combination workout. And if you're a half marathoner or a marathoner or a long course triathlete, I recommend that ride is anywhere from 1 to 2 hours, easy pace on either side of these runs. And the runs are going to be done at that lap 1 pace, that easy pace. So in the first hour running that easy pace, you'll probably see a slightly higher heart rate in that second half. And remember, these are split. So the session isn't done. So you do the 3-lap session, and then you're going to do this longer run, bike, run workout. A few days later, the following week, whenever. And then you're going to do a ride, 1 to 2 hours. And then after the ride, you're going to repeat this 1-hour run at that same easy pace. And you're going to pay attention to what happens to the feeling and what happens to the heart rate. And what you should see is you'll see an increase, likely, over the heart rate in that first lap on the first day, but it should be about 5 to 8 beats. Now, if you get this big cardiac drift and it goes way up, then that's a sign that either you set your zones incorrectly. In other words, they're too high. So the pace that you're using for easy is actually not easy. It's going to be higher up. Or it's a sign that you're lacking in endurance. And if you're a marathoner or a half marathoner, or say a half Ironman athlete or an Ironman athlete, and the heart rate is blowing out at easy pace, it is a sign that you really need to work on your general conditioning, that general fitness, rather than doing a whole bunch of difficult training. Also, really consider, and that's why we're going 2 gears up, really consider if easy pace is easy. Perhaps you've set your green zone into zone 3. And that's why you're seeing this decoupling and this big rise in heart rate. So just want to, using my data. Now, again, your heart rates are most likely going to be higher than mine. When I was younger, I would get a bigger heart rate response than I did now, but just to illustrate. So lap 1 on the first day, max of 121 there. And if we slide down, and I'll link this article up in the YouTube comments so you can have a look. If we slide it down and we have a look, we're in the mid, on this second run, we're in the mid to high 120s. So I'm in that 5 to 8 beat increase in terms of how much extra my heart is beating. And there can be different reasons for that. I touch on it in the article. John's got an article coming out on Monday about his experience with cardiac drift too, and you can get that on the Endurance Essentials website if you're interested in that. But the key thing is, what you want to do is you say, all right, I've told myself this is my easy pace, but is it really easy? And by doing this combination workout, run, bike, run, you're going to get a look, particularly on that second run, the last half hour, how much that heart rate is going up. Now, if let's say you pass the test, so similar to me, you're like locked in. Rather than trying to repeat it at ever higher efforts, so trying to repeat it in zone 2, repeat it in zone 3 if you're a top amateur or an elite, what I recommend you do is say, okay, I've ticked the box for my 4-hour stamina. Now what I want to do is I want to think about what are the specific needs for my race and given my overall fitness profile. It might be core pace workouts. It might be some strength-oriented workouts, some resistance training, in-sport resistance training. So give that some thought. But definitely, once you're ticking the box and you got things locked in for 4 hours, that's a sign that your general conditioning is good. And it's time to think about, well, how should I add strength and intensity into my program? Thanks for listening. I'll be back with more. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel if you want more of this type of stuff. Thanks.